Yeah, good morning, everybody. Just wait for like 2-3 minutes for others, and then I open test in LMS. It's like 7 questions and 9 minutes to do it. Okay, so just small announcement, yeah, for you. If you do not received different messages from me from LMS, please write to your study office, like program office. Yeah, please write to the program office, because via LMS I usually send messages about like topics of distribution, topics of final project, small instruction for a final project at all. So could you write in? Yeah, could you write in chat? Yeah, if you do not receive messages from LMS from me, then it means that you need to write to your program office and ask what happened with your HSC email. So it means that something, maybe technical mistakes with your HSC email. Okay, I'm going to open test in LMS now. Like write the minutes, and then please begin the test. It will be open till, let's say, 40 minutes before 12, like 11:40, for those who will be late. Okay, basically, like, let's start. Today we have, I don't know why we do not have it. Just try
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions about test. May I ask them?
Yeah, of course.
So I have a question about the third question. It was
Just
about.
I open it. Yeah.
So I know that in our lectures, slides, only the quality of schools was mentioned, but why the quality of universities is the wrong answer. So
Yeah, because okay, if we talk about the wages, then quality of university and schools influences, but not if we talk about the years of education. So the years of education means like how many years of education people need to decide according to the human capital theory. And this, for these two, we discussed two basic theoretical models. One is about abilities and one about discount rate. And we discuss the quality when we discuss the return to education.
okay, so return to education, but it doesn't affect the biases. Something like
It
that.
doesn't affect not the biases, but it doesn't affect the years of education, according to the theory.
Okay.
Okay, so like the years and return to education is like two different, how should I say, characteristics of education.
Okay, I see.
And the second one,
And
you say have to
the second one is about the seventh question.
this moment, seventh. Yeah,
It's the problem. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, am I right that the first the first equation is for the low skilled worker not to pretend being high skilled worker, so not to study.
Yeah, it's like optimal level of education for them.
Hmm. And the second restriction is for the high quality worker not to pretend being low skilled worker, right?
Yeah, like the optimal education, like okay, the optimal level of education, and then it's like mean that employers, yeah, should okay, let's say state the optimal level of education in such way that this number of years will have only high quality workers, like high productive, yeah.
Hmm.
But for low productive workers, it will be not optimal to get this level of education.
Okay, and so for low
I mean,
ability workers.
do not try to say the exact number because some people is still in the test.
Um, yeah,
Please do not say
I won't. I won't. So the main idea is so the first equation. So I understand it, but the second one. So it's the restriction, the condition for high ability workers to study. So
basically it's the same as for low workers, but it means that like it should be higher than for low productive
Mhm.
workers, low for like compared to the high productive workers, because in this case we can be sure that this level of education can be obtained by the high productive workers.
Yeah, I see. So if the second one is not held, high productive workers won't study at all. So it's just.
I mean, they do not get like okay for them it's kind of threshold optimal level. Yeah, for education they say it means that like high productive workers do not want to study more than this threshold
Mhm.
level because it's not optimal for them. And
Okay.
so the decision for employers should be between like these two numbers.
Mhm. Now I see. Thank you.
It's like a small hint for those who still in the test. Okay. For I don't. Okay, like I open I show you my screen because I don't know why, but it still do not see my PDF file. But okay, maybe try it with the visit video. I just want to show you lectures, but I don't know why, but it does not allow me. It doesn't see basically this PDF file as a separate window. Okay, let's do it in like screensaver. Okay, I just show you my screen and get this one. Small announcement again. In the chat, you can find the links to Google Docs when you need to decide the topic of your final project. I know that some of you already did it. Yeah, but please. Yeah, so also in LMS, you can find instruction, yeah, for this final project. And in this instruction, there is a deadline for this. So if you do not choose the topic for a final project, please do it. If you do not know the deadline for this final project, please go to the LMS and find the file. I don't remember. I think it's called like instruction for final project, but I don't remember the exact name. Okay, because like I checked the final topics now, like 2 minutes ago, and still not all the people decided about the issue they want to analyze.
Evgenia Yurina, may I ask just a brief question? Yeah. But you said like in the final in the task requirements, it is stated date for the submission is 18th, but then you send the email that the final date is actually 21st, right?
Yeah. So like rely on the latest information. Like I announce officially, rely on the latest information, please. It's just like 2 more days for you to be prepared, considering that you have like exam week and etc. etc. Like everybody understand what is a new deadline for the final project. Okay, everybody know what is the deadline for the final project. Could you repeat again for everybody?
21st of December.
Yeah, like the latest information. Yeah, thank you. Please be aware of that. Yeah, you have a question?
Can I ask you? Yes.
Евгения Юрьевна, можно узнать?
Just moment. Let's do it.
Я просто уже очень давно руку подняла по поводу теста.
I don't see. Okay, let's do it. Diana, let's do it with you first.
Можете, пожалуйста, посмотреть, мой ответ сохранился, потому что я тест прошла, нажала на завершить, и там у меня почему-то написано, что как будто я уже этот тест прошла давно.
I just okay. Could I do it like that way? Do not see the results of others. Just moment. Just check. Diana, I have your answers. No problem.
Спасибо.
Okay.
Is it possible for us to know the grades for the debates, or you will tell us later?
Yeah, I am going to give the grades of the debate after the all debates. Yeah, like in one time for everybody. So like you have it, but like when we ended with all the debates. Okay. Just a moment, Anton, something wrote. Anton, you should have your student plagiarism check, I think. Really, okay, please ask to the program office to it. Yeah, but I know the HEC have access for students check for plagiarism. But even if you cannot find the success, you can do it with the, okay, please ask your program office. But if you care about that, then maybe it's a problem with the plagiarism. Oh, okay. Could you remember what is the highest possible level of it?
20 or 30%, maybe something like that.
I would like 20 or 30. Okay. Are you going to write your term paper? Yes. Do you discuss in NIS what is the threshold for plagiarism in HSC? On NIS, you have to discuss it.
Actually, not yet.
Okay, please check what Anton wrote in the chat. It's 20%. It means if you write by yourself, then 20% is enough for, common words, for something like that. So it means that you cannot copy the basically sentences, yeah, from different sources, but 20% is enough if you have plagiarism because, common words, some common definition, etc., etc. In addition, yeah, 20% basically it depends on the how you decided to cite different sources. So if you cite like word by sources, but uses specific signs in order to, say that this is a citation from the source, then it doesn't mean that it is plagiarism. It means that for each essay or even term paper, yeah, if people have higher than 20%, it's like individual case, yeah, and people look by themselves, yeah, but not like with a machine, but people look in like I look or like your program office look each case separately. It means that if you have more than 20% of plagiarism because of citation, yeah, but you use a reference for this, it doesn't mean this is plagiarism. Yeah, it doesn't count as a problematic case. Yeah, ask program office, it should has student HSC access to anti-plagiat. But the best way to do not copy just the information from the source, that's all. Okay, let's start with the lecture. I'm going to close the test, as I said, basically. Okay, now it's closed, and let's start with the lecture. Okay, I hope everybody of you aware that you need to choose the topics for the final project. Please do it. Okay, now it's better. You can see the main presentation. Because of presentation, sometimes I cannot hear your hand. Sorry for that, because I cannot simultaneously see the presentation in order to explain to you and the window for the MS Teams. And if you have like really urgent questions, please write in the chat, yeah, that I want to ask questions. Hope it's good. Okay, we basically finished with the human capital, and now we move to the wage inequality section. It's like not so complex topic, yeah. Basically, first of all, if we talk about wage inequality, we talk about wage dispersion. Yeah, and the main idea is what? That we know that human capital is based on what? On the discount rate and the ability of workers. And if we speak about ability of workers, then we can speak about different productivities among workers. So we say that in the theoretical labor markets, we have different productivity among different individuals. And like theoretically, yeah, as Nikolai said, like in theory, if we stick only with ability and do not discuss like quality of universities, that gives different return to education. Yeah, we say that the greater this productivity difference, then the more unequal the wage distribution will be. It means that if we have about the quality of university, return to education. So if you have really inequality between quality of university, we may say that this university produce different people with different productive level, and in this case it produce different wage dispersion or wage inequality, because of we may have really different education even in one sector or even in one profession. Think about economists. Like it's obvious that people with different education from different university or even from the same university can handle different set of bunch of skills, bunch of competences, and etc. So the rate of return to skills, basically it's similar as the rate of return to education. In real world, vary across labor markets. Again, it depends on the demands and supply of different professions, different occupations, and over time. Why over time? Because it depends basically on the business cycle. And it's simple, if we speak about business cycle, when economy decreasing, then what happened with the rate to return to education? If we have economic crisis, what happened with the return to education? It's like kind of simple question.
It decreases too?
Yeah, of course, it decreases too, like simple, I mean, because we have crisis, because we have a problem with the labor market. It's like decision, are there layoff of people? We have like a rise in unemployment, but we know that for Russia, the labor market is kind of flexible, and inflexible not in term on the level of unemployment, but flexible in the term of wages. So people do not lose their jobs, but they basically lose their salary. I mean, not all salary, but half of this or like 25% of this, etc. It's like simple, So the next obvious conclusion from this: the greater the rewards for skills, then the greater the wage gap between skilled and unskilled workers. Then we have so-called positively skewed wage distribution. If we have this, it implies that the bulk of workers, that the number of workers on relatively low wages, and that that a small number of workers in the upper tail, receive a large share of the rewards. We discuss it, probably you discuss it in your econometrics course. Not say mathematically, okay, let's say how technically we called this a type of positively skewed wage distribution. Okay, if we speak about money, how our distribution looks like. It's like, what is the technical name of it? It's basically based on what you need to do with these variables in order to get more or less normal distribution of this variable.
In that case, maybe там смещенное влево, смещенное вправо. В смысле именно distribution.
Okay, like first, we have like many people with the small wages, and then we have long tail with the small percentage of people with the high wages. It looks like how? It's like shifted to the what? Okay, from the left side.
It is shifted to the right, paradoxically.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, okay, first we have many. What is the technical name for this distribution? Do you know? Okay, just show
Maybe
you.
not. So it's
Uh,
just not normal. It's just shifted to some level.
yeah,
So
it's called log normal distribution. Have you heard about this? Oh, so-called log normal distribution.
doesn't it look like the ordinary normal distribution just with
I just show
another
you.
axis?
I just show you this log normal. Yeah, it's look like just check just moment. I show you my screen. Just and then switch to the presentation again. It's look like that. I mean, it's not so shift. I mean, in this case, it's not so shifted, but like in reality, or in reality, where if you talk about wages, revenue, something like that, it's look like this form basically. Yeah, like many people with the low wages, then like small people with the middle wages, and really small percentage of the people with the high wages. It's called like, okay, if you see this type of distribution of your variable, it's called log normal. And probably you understand what you need to do from the name of it in order to get more normal distribution. What you need to do to get from this log normal distribution, like to get more normal distribution. I mean, it's from the name log normal. What does it mean, log? Logarithm. So like what you need to do is a variable in order to get more normal distribution to take what?
Experience, but
To take logarithm of this variable, that's all.
Okay, I see.
They say, yeah, it's obvious. Nothing complex, it's obvious. Basically, if you want to get from this log normal distribution, the logarithm, then, I mean, of course, it depends, yes, because we know that in real data, you may never have like real normal distribution, yeah, because you always have like some skewness or kurtosis, yeah, but like it will look like normal, yeah. So if you deal with the finance, revenue, different money, wages, earnings, whatever, you will, I mean, with higher probability, yeah, you will have this log normal. Just take the logarithm, yeah, in your like dependent variable, independent variable, doesn't matter. Like because of empirical studies, if you have in your regression equation logarithm, how do you need to interpret the result of it? For instance, we have like revenue, wages, in our case is wages, yes, because of the labor market, as our dependent variable. Yeah, as we discussed in the previous lecture, Mincer equation. Yeah, dependent variable is wage. Then we have education, years of education, for instance, yeah. And then what we have? We have experience in the labor market. Then if our wage in the logarithm, how you will be interpret the independent variable in your regression?
Like the percentage change, but
yeah,
but the coefficient should be interpreted another way if we don't have log model. For example,
yeah, you're
log
right.
lean or lean log.
Yeah, you're right. For instance, you have this coefficient, yeah, like it's like random number. Please check. Please see in the chart. Yeah, if you have your dependent variable as a logarithm, then you can interpret in the two way. First way, it will be like approximately 21%. It means that one rise in, for instance, year of education give you approximately. It's crucial here, approximately 21% of rise in your wages. But if do you know what you need to do if you want to get the exact size of the influence of this variable?
What model do we have? One more time.
A dependent variable as a logarithm, and then normal independent variable, like years of education. Okay, if you have like this one, just show you. I mean, maybe it's not really about our, but it's useful when you try to do some empirical research, even in the labor economics. It doesn't matter, yeah. Okay, if you have this model, I mean, it's of course without constant, without different beta, just really simplification. Do not write this type of equation as your regression in your econometrics course. Of course, you need constant, residual terms, and etc. But just for you, yeah. Then, if you need to do like the exact way, you need to use this way. Where is it like?
Sorry, what
Yeah.
is the state of your presentation? Wage dispersion? Still.
Sorry?
Слайды, вы переключаете слайды, потому что у нас все еще wage dispersion.
Yeah, that we discuss wage dispersion. It just
Okay.
knew how to. I mean, we in this point about positively skewed wage distribution,
okay.
and discuss what to do if you have this positively skewed wage distribution or positively skewed distribution of different variables in your regression equation, because we speak about here empirical studies. Okay, if you have this type of equations, then you need to use E, like exponents, yeah, and then it should be in the, just to show you. Oops. Yeah, here, this is interpretation. This one, yeah. This is how you need to interpret the real size of the coefficients for this type of equations, like exponents.
Did we see something apart from presentation? Because we only see the presentation. It seems like you are trying to show something else.
In chat.
In chat. Okay, please, as I said, please see it in chat. Yeah, this is an example how you interpret the coefficient with the x in this equation. Like exponenta, then beta minus 1 multiplied by 100. It doesn't matter for the real small coefficients, because for the real small coefficients you do not get any differences. But if you have rather high coefficients, I mean, like 0.1 at least, yeah, then you will see the difference. Okay, let's go further. It's like, okay, maybe, I mean, it's small, it's not really dealing with our topic of, but it's for you, it's kind of useful, because even for the first grade, yeah, I teach econometrics too, some people do not really know how to interpret the results of coefficients, yeah, in different models that somehow includes logarithm for dependent, for independent variables, and so on. So please be careful that when you have a logarithm, the interpretation is not linear. That's all. Okay. Now let's go further. So with the human capital, yeah, as we discuss. Why we have, yeah.
As for logarithm, we've taught that in the type of model like log-lean, we should interpret the coefficient before the x. Let's call it b1. So like b1 multiplied 100%. So
it's approximately interpretation, but if you to get the real like effect, like the strict, yeah, it should be with the exponenta.
So it's
E.
So it's exponenta в степени b and -1. Okay, I see. Thank you.
try it with for instance, with this number. Yeah, you see, it's like, try it, like open the Google calculator. Yeah, try it. Like this is like approximate effect 21%. It's not the mistake. Yeah, it's like approximate effect. If you want to get the real effect, yeah, you need to use it with exponent. But usually people do not do this. It's just for you to know. Basically, people just multiply by 100. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go further. So why we have this positively skewed wage distribution? Because as Nikolai, asked about the test, about the 7 questions, we have so-called stopping rule. Yeah, like when low productive or the individuals with low ability decided to stop education. And we know that the years of education influence on our wages. And because of we have distribution of abilities across population, then we have people with different level of education. And the idea is what? That we do not have high percentage of people with high abilities. So like in real world, yeah, we have people with most percentage of people like with the average abilities, and only small number. I mean, it's theoretically, yeah, because of course return to education depends on many factors. Yeah, and theoretically, how we explain from the theoretical point of view, yeah, this positively skewed distribution. Okay. So, like the stopping rule say that because of this, we have different wage dispersion. So, how to measure inequality? The real simple way with the huge critique, yeah, but really widespread, is like Lorenz curve. Yeah, it's basically the most widespread way to measure inequality. And it's basically this Lorenz curve is just a graphical representation of the cumulative income distribution. It shows for the bottom percentage of household, it's like dealing with a house, what percentage of the total income they have. So we have bottom percentage of household, what percentage of total income they have. Yeah, as you see, it was developed more than 100 years ago. And the perfect equality means that it's just curve should be 45 angle, yeah, here, the blue line is here. Yeah, and for Russia, it's like the latest data, it's like non-equal at all. Yeah, and basically based on this Lorenz curve, you know about the Gini index. Gini index is based on the idea of this Lorenz curve. Yeah, and Gini index basically show you in the numbers what happened with the equality in different countries. And basically Gini coefficient is area. Okay, don't worry, I definitely do not ask you to calculate Gini coefficients during the next test, because it's kind of complex and you do not have time for this. So it would be not like different questions based on please calculate Gini coefficients. It can be questions about Gini coefficients, but not about the calculation of Gini coefficients. Okay, so basically Gini coefficients is area between perfect equality Lorenz curve and actual equality, an actual Lorenz curve divided by area on under perfect equality Lorenz curve. You see this here, the perfect Lorenz curve. Here the real line, this one, yeah, divided by the area under perfect equality Lorenz curve. It's like the black line you see.
Excuse me, and what is the black line actually?
It's basically just for these pictures area under this one.
No, on that graph, what is the black line? It's not.
It's the angle. It just shows you the angle. You see, I mean, in this graph, it doesn't. it doesn't mean something economically term. It just is a line to show the angle, that's all.
Okay.
I mean, like what you need to see in this graph, it's here for different years. Yeah, the line. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Okay, this is like for this. Okay, I made a mistake. I do not check. Okay, because I changed the graph. Sorry, Nikolai, I made a mistake. Let's do it again. I was wrong. Okay, again, this is because I'm sorry for this, because I changed the graph, and first it was just a line for the angles, but now it's a line for some years. Okay, this black line basically is inequality in Russia in 2017. This is the right answer. I changed it because of the graph. Okay, no, let's again.
Other lines?
Other line, this is the inequality for other years. Look, the red one is for 2012. This one, the blue line is like the line for perfect equality. Then this one for 2014, you see it's like pink one, yeah. Then the blue one you see with the small rounded dots, it's for 2016. Then, I mean, it's not really visible, but you see, basically this is a picture that say that we have real strange situation for 2017.
Okay. Yes, it's really strange.
Yeah.
It should be a mistake in data.
Yeah, basically it's okay. This is a graph that is built by the data of World Bank. Yeah, and sometimes they may have so be careful with that. Again, yeah, I was wrong. This not the angle. Okay, this is basically for 2017. Yeah, but the real yeah, inequality line is here. And this is a perfect line. So what does it mean? It means, again, Gini coefficients. It's like here, again, yeah, divided by this area. So area between real Lorentz curve till to the perfect equality divided by the area under the real curve. You see, yeah? Basically this divided by that. Okay, hope no questions. Sorry that I messed with you. It's like sometimes I change the lecture and then I forgot about it. Sorry. Because you know that lecture was renewed for each year, of course, because something changed. Yeah, you need to add something new, etc. Okay, again, what are the measures? Basically, it's the same idea. It's based on the Gini coefficients logic. So basically, we may have so-called 1910 wage differential. It says that like how many income, yeah, have workers in the 90th percentile compared to the workers at 10th percentile of wage distribution. Yeah, it can be 50, 10. It's like 50. It's in our median. Yeah, and we compare our median with the 10th percentile of wage distribution, people who in the 10th percentile of wage distribution. Okay, so Gini index, yeah, for different countries. This is Russia. This is like other. So for Russia, we have like approximately, yeah, is a number 37 and 5. Basically, number does not give you anything, but it's just a number to compare different countries. Yeah, it's just a number to have harmonized indexes, yeah, that allow to compare income inequality in different countries. Yeah, and Russia basically near the El Salvador, Georgia, Nigeria, like Thailand, Indonesia, UK, for instance, Latvia, and Lithuania, and so on. The highest inequality we see like in Latin America, and Africa. The lowest inequality is Ukraine, Belarus, and Moldova. Maybe it's kind of surprise for you. Why do you think so? Why in Belarus, for instance, and Moldova, we may have low inequality, low income inequality?
Maybe is well, inequality is not connected with social welfare. So every citizen can be, in fact, not so rich, but the distribution of income is equal. So
Yeah, you're right. Basically, yeah. So like, unfortunately, low inequality may mean the situation, when all people live bad. I mean, with low social welfare, as you said. Yeah. So, for instance, Belarus, if you have really low wages for everybody, then we have low inequality. But it doesn't mean that people live in normal way in this country. I mean, not normal, but I mean, based on the standards of living, not with the high standards of living. For instance, look what happened in USA. Yeah, country with the huge GDP per capita, the inequality is higher compared to Russia. For the Finland is low inequality too. Yeah, for the Finland we may have different situation. But again, low Gini index does not mean high standards of living. Yeah, but it depends on the context. Like Sweden, Finland, Austria, for instance. Yeah, but for USA, it's like, why we have in USA high level of income inequality? What do you think? Why in the developed countries we may have this huge income?
as I'm aware of, well, I'm not a specialist, but in many cases we consider the USA as a country and as a market, so labor or other, as an example of mostly free market. So, like an example of a free market with minimum government intervention. So, in that case, in case of let's call it pure capitalism, everybody lives as he or she can, and so those who can't make money just don't have them. So it's just up to every person how to build his or her life and welfare, and it isn't successful in some cases. So
it's like one explanation. Other think about this country is called based on the different immigrations. And still country like huge level of immigrants, and immigrants usually occupied low. I mean, if we do not speak in informal immigration, but if Gini coefficients based on the different questionnaires, in these questionnaires even informal illegal immigration can be counted too. So I mean, with a low quality, and then this is I mean, it may basically build with this free market idea too, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, under the Trump, they basically introduce many protective legislation for the economy. It's not like real free market. But okay, what is the problem? Social structures. Okay, if we speak about inequality, think about the access to education. So basically, you're aware about this movement to protect Afro-American rights, yeah? Okay, maybe some of you interesting. Okay, what is one of the main, not concept, but one of the main source why this movement basically widespread across the country? Okay, we may speak about the new ethics, tolerance, and etc. But what is the main problem why Afro-Americans decided to protest, yeah, against some like social structure?
What was the trigger, or what are
Yeah,
the
it was
problems?
trigger. I mean, is it like let's say not the trigger, not the, and we know about the trigger, but no, it's like only the trigger. Yeah, what is the complex structure problem? Okay, I said you know. Basically, complex structure problem is a social structure of society. What happened? Because based in what family you were born, you may have different access to social. So-called social parts of society. Basically, it's about education. So if you do not access to good schools, yeah, then you do not have access to colleges. And then if you do not college education, in our case, in university education, you know, high education, yeah, then you have a problem with the job. And probably you have seen it from the different movies, yeah, and serials and etc., yeah, that people try to get their high school diploma. And the problem is that if you were born like in specific so-called social class, yeah, social groups, you may have problem with the accessible to education, and this education gives you the ladder to good jobs and good salaries. Because you know, okay, based on the maybe movies that you've seen, what is how they enter to the university? Do they like ЕГЭ or what? Do they need provide only the basically the results of the test, or do they need provide also what?
Motivational letter, maybe something, participation in different project, volunteering.
So
Yeah.
portfolio.
Yeah, portfolio, something like that. Yeah, and think about if you were born in like bad district, yeah, with no good schools, you cannot build portfolio, you cannot go to college. Then you stuck with this, yeah. Then you stuck in this basically area, yeah. And this is called like in Russian ловушка бедности, yeah, or like vicious circle of poverty. It means that people want to be not to be like poor, yeah, who want to be poor. But of course, of the social structure, they do not have access to that. And basically, one of these like movement, yeah, it's basically the problem with this social structure. We do not discuss now is it bad or good, like what is the advantages or disadvantages. It just we discuss the basic trigger for that. So like do not access to education, and because of that, yeah, we discuss on one's debate why this USA has this affirmative action is one way to basically, yeah, to deal with this problem with access to different social advantages, yeah, for some disadvantages group. So like different quotas, something like that. So in Russia, we have slightly bit different situation, yeah, because like access to university, I mean, yeah, as we discussed, it's based on the private teachers, based on the quality schools, but it's not so strict. Yeah, we do not have so strict social groups in Russia compared to, for instance, I mean, because think about this, even if you were born in not good district, yeah, with not good school quality, still you may go to university if you, even without private teacher, if you like study hard with this ЕГЭ, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, of course, the probability to be is lower, yeah, but it's still possible. I mean, so like if you read the what is it? If you read the new, think about not like think about that all social problems have like different dimensions. Yeah, I think about like more deep dimension. So like new ethics is like shell of this. Yeah, think about what's inside. Okay, small stuff. So basic stuff, yeah, we discuss basically. So of course, yeah, the wage gap between those on the top of distribution and those of the bottom widened dramatically. Of course, it can be different wage gap between different education group, experience group, age group, and etc. And some like fact, yeah, about the previous year, because like now we have 2021, it's not finished yet, so we have numbers on the years before that. So basically we have some number of billionaires, yeah, we have like number of people, and these billionaires, you can calculate it by yourself percentage of whole world population, yeah, and you see that this really small percentage of whole population make 60% of the planet's income. I mean, so then numbers show that we have more wider wage gap. So inequality rise basically in USA and Russia and all countries. For Russia, yeah, for the latest numbers, for the latest calculation, basically income distribution of the poorest decile, yeah, it's like from 2.3 to 2.8, it's rather stable. Then 10% of the richest Russian own 77% of the country total wealth. And basically the sought after Thailand and Sweden. Yeah, but see what happened. Yeah, in Sweden we have the same situation as Russia, but we have a real low inequality. Why do you think so? Why in Sweden we have really low Gini index, even if we say that 78% of richest Swedish, 10% of richest Swedish get 78% of country total wealth?
Because
I mean, why? Yeah.
they have some extraordinarily big taxes there, like 40 or 45%. So the distribution function of the government is huge.
Yeah, it's like basically we have welfare distribution policies. Okay, so this is just facts for you too, just for know. What is the limitation of indexes? What is a problem? The main problem that sometimes it consider only some wealth, yeah, and I mean it can consider only the money. But the problem is do not consider with household size, other scales of individual level, like financial holdings or wage earnings is like wealth. Yeah, and so like if you try to recalculate a Gini index based on earnings, based on labor income, based on different financial holdings, you may have different results. So it just means that Gini coefficient is not robust. Yeah, based on what measure of wealth or what measure of income you prefer. Then, so it depends whether you consider individual incomes or whether you consider household income. Of course, is different. Yeah. Then sometimes it's problematic when we have high level of informal economy in the country. Yeah, so like huge informal sector, because usually an income from the informal sector is excluded from the measurement of income inequality. So in Russia, we know it's approximately 25% of economy is informal sector, basically. So Gini index can give you the same coefficient, yeah, for different situation. But of course, the situation is different in terms of standards of living and some also. And basically, it can give the same even index for different scenario for population. Yeah, just as an example. Like 50-50 or 70-25. Yeah, the same Gini index, but of course the situation inside the country different. And then what is the main questions? Yeah, why we may have situation when our wage inequality increase? Yeah, and from theoretical point of view, it just changing in the wage structure resulting from shift in supply and demand here. So relative wage of skilled workers, relatively employment of skilled workers. Yeah, it depends basically on the supply and demand. So, and again, yeah, please read it, yeah. It again depends on the elasticity of supply. So in this picture, you see what happens when we say that relatively supply of skilled workers increased to the new point, yeah, S1. So the rising relative wage of skilled workers, yeah, can be explained only if it's sizable outward shift in the relative demand curve. And it's here. Yeah, and we know that if demand change, it may influence not only skilled workers, but also unskilled workers. Yeah, the question, the answer is simple. It depends, yeah, on the basically supply and demand and in the labor market. Yeah, it depends on the structure of the economy. And also it depends on the return to labor and return to capital. Okay, have you heard about Piketty books? It's called New Capital, I think. Capital in 21st Century, Piketty. Have you heard about this?
Not really.
Okay, I just show you. I mean, this is a really interesting book. I just show you how it looks like. It's capital. This one. Just show you this moment. Just for you because of your economist. Yeah, it's like kind of interesting. Like the book looks like that. We have a Russian version of it if you want to read in Russian. Just type it. I mean, I think you may download it somewhere. It's Russian, it's the same. Yeah, it's an English version. Russian is here. Yeah, nothing special. Okay, what is the main idea? Basically, in this book, he explained why we have the problem when the wage inequality rise. And I really recommend it to read it. Yeah, basically, in these books, yeah, he explained why we have the situation with this old revolution, technical changes, that we have even in modern developed economies, we have basically really wage inequality problem. Yeah, as I said, it depends on the structure of economy, return to labor, return to the capital. It's not really, I mean, it's scientific, of course, but it's called like popular scientific, yeah, научно-популярные книги. So it's like no hard mathematic formulas or something like that. It's just like not really, difficult readings, but kind of interesting with many historical facts, with very historical evidence, and just give you, whole picture what happened with the economy of modern world in the 21st century. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, okay. So it's dealing with the topic of our lecture, basically. Okay, then, as you discussed, yeah, probably in your microeconomic course, we may have skill-based technological change, and we discuss it a lot. Yeah, so the introduction of high-tech capital into labor market is particularly beneficial to highly skilled workers because they can adapt to this new world. Yeah, but it can be kind of problematic with like middle skilled workers, because as we discussed, if we speak about the routine skills, I mean, those who work under the certain algorithm, like people in the shops, in the supermarkets, administrative workers, etc., etc. Yeah, so it can change the demand again. Yeah, this high tech capital or like technological changes can change the demand for labor. And in this case, it can have different influence on the wages of high skilled workers and the low skilled workers. So high skilled workers basically get more from this technological change. Low skilled workers are kind of in dangerous situation. So also, as we discussed the example of USA, basically, as I said, the problem is that inequality can exist across generation. It means if you were born in specific family, it means that you may have different possible access to different education, internship, and etc. So different social groups that you were born, that you were raised, basically influence on the future jobs, on the future wages, and etc. So it means that unfortunately people by birth are not equal. And it doesn't mean that if some people can get millionaires and they drop the university, it doesn't apply for everyone. For this, you need to write about the parents of the people, about the social, basically, networking of those people, and basically about social groups of those people. And you see that basically this income inequality depends on these generations, depends on the social structure. I mean, it's just like simple, high income parents will have more possibilities to invest to their children compared to others. And because of that, the socioeconomic outcomes experienced by the parents and this outcome experienced by the children. If children lives in different socioeconomic groups, of course their labor market outcomes will be different. But what is the positive news? Empirical studies show that this earning differential among two-parental households typically exceeds the expected earnings difference found among the children. So it still exists, but it became a bit lower. So in this case, we may say that it's like move toward lower income inequality. Okay, let's finish with the income inequality here. Because unfortunately we spent some time, but I really ask you, we continue with this during the next basically lectures, but I really ask you, please read like this 9 slides about discrimination by yourself, because it can be questions about this discrimination and the test. It's not so difficult. You see, it's no really difficult formulas or something like that. Please just write the main idea of discrimination. So, and the next text will the next test will be about inequality and about discrimination, like that you read by yourself. Okay, you can find the slides in LMS. It's already here.
I've got one question.
Yeah, okay.
The 11th slide.
Yeah.
So what empirical studies have shown?
Look, they compare the wage gap between parents of different socioeconomic groups. And then they compare the wage gap between children of these parents from these different socioeconomic groups. And they show that basically they found that the wage gap between parents is higher compared to the wage gap between these children of these parents. Different generations.
Okay.
It means that like the next generation will have smaller wage gap that based on their different socioeconomic status. It means that by the time the wage gap became less visible, with generations. I mean, it still exists. Yeah, it still exists, of course. It means it can be like, I don't know the exact number, but it's not so big. It's like 1 or something like that %. So we still have wage gap, but like compared to the previous generation, in the average, it's smaller. That's all.
Was that analysis made only for 2 generations? I think it.
No, basically, it depends on the articles. Yeah, some articles based on the 2 generations, but they usually use different, cohort of, birth. Birth in that year, birth in that year.
Okay.
Like different so-called birth year groups, something like that. Like cohort. Yeah, it's called cohorts.
In that case, it makes sense.
Yeah, of course, like if we just compare, of course it's cohorts. Like you, for instance, you and your parents and the parents of your parents.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Yeah, you have slides, and so the last test on the next week, again, about income inequality discrimination. Please read it yourself. I hope we done with the final project, and I hope you basically find the topics that you want. If you do not have any questions, then please read it again. Yeah, please read the slides, and nice to hear you. And then see you in the next week. And some of you we met during the seminars.
Thank you for the lecture.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.